Let's go! Who's up next?
Go.
Welcome, Internet, to the Xbox Empire Podcast, part of the Play Some Video Games Network of Podcasts. I'm Elaine. That's Donnie. Donnie got excited about some thunder out there. He got scared.
That was thunder. That was a lightning bolt. That was
see how
something
this
that
goes.
just happened. Oof.
We'll see how this goes tonight, because it's spicy outside.
Good timing,
in
son.
The Georgia area. So it's just what we needed on a Wednesday weather.
I mean, it's bad out there.
It's very spicy up here. Like, the humidity is so high that I'm pretty sure I could machete my way through the air at this juncture. So it's disgusting. How you doing, Donnie?
Today was both a really long day and not long enough.
Ah, yes, Wednesday.
I feel like, I think people know that description. I sold my car.
He's holding up stacks. Stacks.
That'll go straight to the bank and straight into credit bills.
To be clear, not the good car.
Not the good car.
The old Camry,
good,
not the
thank
sweet.
you.
You gotta clarify, because people be
Thank
like,
you.
"Whoa."
Thank you. Yeah, no, that's smart on you. I sold my Camry, which I was saving for my daughter, but after the air conditioner and everything else, like, it's costing me a lot of money. It's just sitting there. We're not using it, and everybody knows me. If Donnie's not using it, it is on the block.
Let me tell you what happens with Donnie. It comes in, it goes out, cash comes in, the cycle repeats. Like, this is how it works, y'all. I haven't known him too long, but I've known him long enough. So,
We worked all weekend for the Peachtree Road Race, 3 o'clock every day. It's been a long week. I sat down and tried to play some games last night, played a little Scarlet Nexus, got through Phase 4.
Green Punk.
Still not, like, overly enamored with what it is. It's not bad, but I'm not like super into it. It's not like Astral Chain. I'm not like really digging it yet.
You just not in the mood?
I don't
do you think
know.
It's not
I don't
vibing
think
for
so.
you?
Because I'm like kind of enjoying it. It's just not going anywhere that I'm like really entertained by yet. The story is just so
anime.
Yeah, but not like the fantastical, that was awesome kind of way.
I've heard it goes places. I don't know what places it goes to. I just heard it goes.
If you've played
places.
Persona, if you've played Astral Chain, if you've played these things, it's not going anywhere I've never seen. Like Catherine's story is way better. So
Catherine, that's a good game.
Yeah,
that's
so
a good video game.
And I don't mean to demean it. I'm still having fun. I haven't quit on it. So like, don't get crazy. Don't be like, oh my god, I bought this game, I don't like it. No, that's not the case. I'm enjoying it. Right now, it's just kind of good.
Okay. I mean, good is better than like disappointing, like largely disappointing.
Yeah, it's not disappointing.
Right? Like,
it's fun to play.
Okay, well, yeah,
looks beautiful. I don't know. I don't know how much longer I'm going to stick with it.
We know how long it is on average.
I don't. I haven't looked at it.
I have not looked up how long to beat. I
only count the phases because, like, when you beat a chapter, it does like a little title screen. It's like phase 4. So I saw that. I have no idea how many phases there are, if I'm even doing that correctly. But it's one of those things where, like, the story, I don't care enough that I'm already starting to just kind of like click through some text. These characters are talking. I'm like, okay, like let's there. And Sean was talking about on the Xbox Drive. It is, I think he called it like a visual novel. There are these long like comic cut scenes. They're not really cut scenes. They're not animated, but they're like these standing scenes where they have some dialogue. They're long. There's a lot of it.
I'm like so used to that.
I just want to blow up some shit, Elaine. Like, I want to do some stuff, and I'm not doing enough of that.
I feel like maybe you picked the wrong game for this. Maybe you need a different
game. But the demo, that's all I was doing, was making stuff explode and fighting big evil monsters and throwing down scaffoldings and throwing dumpsters and trucks. Like, I'm not throwing enough trucks at people.
Yeah, well, that was a vertical slice of truck throwing.
Yeah, I mean more truck throwing. It's not enough truck throwing. It is still fun. It's still fun.
I mean, you get to throw some trucks. So it's better than not throwing any trucks, really.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I feel about it.
When I'm not doing that, I'm arguing with Sean about the Nintendo Switch online. And
I'm not doing that with you tonight.
That's all I want to do. I just really just want to argue with Sean about this.
You just want to fight on the internet? You just want to have Twitter arguments with people?
I don't want to.
You're in a mood.
Not the hero that everybody needs. The hero.
It's not the hero that everybody wants either. I don't understand.
Somebody's got to do it, right? Somebody.
Do we really need to do that? Hold on. This feels like one of those moments my therapist would look at me and go, "No, that's not what we need to do today." You know what I mean? Like no, we're not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I have continued my OLED roulette, which is now what I like to call just cycling through video games that look pretty on my TV.
Sure.
Because I want to.
As one does.
Don was hanging out down here with me, and he's like, "Show me something pretty." So I played a bunch of Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which I really like so far, like a lot. I'm gonna keep playing that. I liked the first game a great deal too, but this one feels bigger and better very quickly than that one, and I'm excited about it. It's also real pretty and running at 120 frames.
The second one's way better than the first one.
That's what everybody says. Like, there's more. It's beefier. Like, there's more to it.
Better story, better platforming, and there's just more to it. Better world, more diversity. It's just better. It's a better game.
This is what I've heard too, and but I'm not ready to cry, so I'm taking it in small chunks because I know it's gonna make me.
The first one made me cry. The second one, I never cried. Ever.
Okay, were you just a more broken person by then?
More hardened by then, like a few years have gone by.
Your heart been ripped out.
You know, you're doing your TV thing, which reminds me that I did get a sound bar.
Ooh, which one did you get? Because I am on the border of potentially
I got
eating.
Some cheap one, so you probably don't want to take my thing.
No, I don't want to do that.
I pulled out my old Vizio. I had an old Vizio sound bar in my closet for like 2 years that I've taken down, and I pulled it out and I realized the subwoofer did not work anymore.
No longer woofed.
Yeah, no longer woofed. So that's real good. I took to YouTube and I was like, you know, I don't want to buy a $400 subwoofer. Obviously, I just paid for this air conditioner. But I found
this is true.
It's called like a Feinwoo, something like that. If you look for it, you'll find it. It's not hard to find, but it's highly recommended by like the techies on YouTube as the like cheap alternative one. I got an Amazon reconditioned one for $58.
That's not money.
It's brand new. It's like $99. So it's this very cheap, affordable thing. And it comes, it's got a little box, looks like a little speaker, got a little sound bar. It's not as loud as I was expecting, just a sound bar, like overall volume intensity, but it is a very nice, rich, bassy thud.
It's good.
And it's very full. It's a very full sound. And I definitely turned it up as high as it would go. And I definitely turned on Doom. And I let the metal and the bass echo through the house. And my son was like, this is too much. I had the lights going and the bass and the sound and the metal. And I was like, dude, this is pretty fun, actually. I'm digging this.
Crysis was always the benchmark for testing a new PC. I feel like Doom Eternal is the benchmark for testing a new TV and soundbar now. Like, just crank the metal and all the lights and let's go.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
And I did a little Tetris with it, a little Tetris connected.
Tetris Effect? Yeah, buddy.
Yep.
That's the other game I played a ton of because, boy, the way that black background and the colors pop on a screen.
Sure.
Oh, buddy. I am considering, my speakers are like 15 or 16 years old now.
Wow.
They're still wonderful. It's a JBL set. It's 5.1.
Old as that car I just sold.
Yeah, I replaced the subwoofer a few years ago because that no longer woofed at a certain point. But I'm considering replacing my 2 front channels in my center with a sound bar. So I'm doing some research. But I would rather they support the Dolby audio stuff if I'm gonna do that. And that's expensive. I'd be paying $1,000.
I'm not sure if mine does, to be honest with you. I think it does. I'm pretty sure. I think I read that.
Anything can support it in fake, like the way the Xbox can sort of fake it through but you can actually get one.
I didn't buy it for games, to be honest with you. I've been messaging Dev about this privately for a couple weeks now. I've been really in a movie kick lately and really wanting big blockbuster. I went to the movie theater this week. And it was great going back to the theaters. I went and saw The Purge. I was
going to ask you what you saw.
It was great. It was great. One of my favorites.
Oh, it was good. Okay.
It was one of my favorites in the franchise. It might be my favorite. I haven't given it that much thought yet. I think I'd need to rewatch the first and second one again to be sure.
I was just going to say,
I really like the first one, but this one is this one's better than the first one in the sense that it's got I don't want to do a movie review on our Xbox show.
We're not gonna do a movie review.
Yeah.
But you liked it and you saw it in the theater,
Yeah.
and now you want that experience at home. Is what you're
That's
telling
exactly
me.
what I've been craving. It's like I just want to watch like a big new blockbuster. Like I've been in the mood. I'm like, let's do Lord of the Rings. Let's do Interstellar. Let's do San Andreas. Like I want buildings falling over, like big explosions.
Yeah.
Like, Die
San
Hard.
Andreas.
I think I'm gonna do John Wick. Just do the
John
whole
Wick.
thing, just 1 through 3, and just let it go.
I own them in 4K. I might have to do those again soon. Although the puppy scene I have to skip in the first one because I'm a baby.
I feel like I've watched them all, but for whatever reason, the last 2 weeks, I've just been dying to like pop some popcorn and get into a good movie.
It's hot. I don't want to do anything. It's too freaking warm. I want to be in my basement too. Like I played Ori and then I played Forza Horizon 4 a whole bunch because I just kind of wanted to freaking drive around. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm excited for Forza Horizon 5. They announced that Test Drive Unlimited Solar Winds or whatever for next year. I'm excited for that. I'm like, I'm going to cruise around in cars. And I just freaking cruise around in sick cars
Did
for
you
hours.
know that the Xbox Gear Shop has a license plate holder for Forza Horizon 5 that I may or may not have purchased for my challenge?
Do you buy it? I might need to get that for my Tahoe. I have a Tahoe, so I look like a big goober in my Tahoe. Everybody teases me about my truck, so I might just need to put that on my truck.
My
I wish
wife
they
was
made
like-
one.
My wife told me,
Sick.
she's like, that's so lame. She's like, nobody's gonna know what that is.
They will, and they'll. This is what happens to me. Like I have a bunch of T-shirts that are like really low key. I don't expect people to know what they are, so when someone does, I get so excited.
You're like that person.
I get so it's like with my tattoos. When somebody mentions what they're from in public, I'm like, oh, hello, you're my
Nice.
people. Would you like to listen to a podcast about video games? They just hand out pamphlets, put them up.
So
All
long story
right.
short, it's been already a very long week, and I'm ready. I'm off Friday. I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, and I'm ready to get there.
Yeah, man, I'm ready for Saturday. I want to sit around and play. I booted up the medium briefly because it was in my plan for the last weekend, and I just didn't have the vibe. But I'm gonna dig into it this coming weekend real deep. I think I might just play through it all in 2 days. I'm ready.
I'm eager to hear
ready
what you
for-
think about it. You know what I think. I love it. So
I do know what you think, and I'm like already ready for fall, so I'm trying to like summon it with spooky games. I got mine too. Got my
Do
No
you
More
see
Heroes
this?
collector's
It goes
edition.
all through here.
I know.
It continues on the wall, and Lane,
So much stuff. in those
I don't have
boxes,
enough
bro.
space. I don't.
You need more shelves. What are you doing, baby?
What am I gonna do? There's no more room.
I feel like you have to take some of the canvases down and put up more shelves.
I've got this stupid Scott Pilgrim thing coming, and it's got a box and a
I
set
got
and a
Doom.
stage.
I got that Doom Shadow Box thing. We're dumb. We make dumbass choices.
My son was looking at me. He's like, "What are you gonna do with that?" I was like, I can't even let him know that I bought the Dying Light one too. Like, what am I doing?
I thought about that one. Oh, I'm gonna get divorced. So, it's actually a funny story. Don and I were out because the kids weren't home with us, and we were out doing whatever on Saturday. And we pulled up to the house, and the limited run box was just sitting on the porch as we pulled up. And Don just looks at me and goes, "What did you do?"
Right. Yeah.
Like, you don't need to know. Walk away. He's like, "Don't forget to get your dumb box." He
That
walks
stamp
in
is
the
like
house.
Christmas. Just like,
It's so exciting.
it's here.
Here. I can't wait till they ship my Doom one.
I did not know that the boxes had like magnets that like pull
Yeah.
them together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did
Isn't
you
that
see
cool?
the No More Heroes 3 edition that's out tomorrow?
Who is printing that thing?
It's like
Is it?
Pixel Pals or Pixel in Love or something I've never heard of. There's 500 of them that Suda
That are
has
signed. Yes. I want one.
I want one.
Now I have the
Like,
other two, and now I want.
Elaine, I want
No.
one. Oh no!
Stacks.
Oh, no.
Make it rain 20s. Oh no, Donnie, put that in the bank quick.
Oh
Oh, and it's gone.
no! There's nowhere to put it.
happens?
Where am I gonna? So Jack
still
was
gonna
like,
buy it.
Jack was like, if you take down the Zelda stuff, then you can just do the whole shelf in No More.
I
Heroes.
agree with him. I feel like I agree with him.
Then where do I put my Zelda stuff?
I'm telling you, you got to take the canvases down behind you and put up more shelves. He's making a
I
pouty
worked
face at me.
for years to do this wall in canvas. This was a long project. This is 3 years in the making.
I don't make the rules. Okay. I make suggestions, you make decisions. Okay. I don't make the rules. What do you want me to say here?
Oh, maybe you're right.
Oh, we thought we weren't going to have any nonsense to talk about tonight. Look at that.
I needed this. I've this is my Camry that I've sold. This is my car in college. I've had it since
Oh.
2008. We've had it a very long time.
Stole
car
an old
has
friend.
Been some places, but it's struggling. You know,
Same
like
things.
it's struggling at this point. Like it like when you drive like at a certain speed, like it rattles a little bit. Like it
Is it a four? Is it a? Was it a 4-cylinder or a 6?
4-cylinder.
The 4. Did you have ever? Okay, my first car. It's the CarCast now. Everybody
Yeah.
fight me. My first car was a little 4-cylinder Saturn, and it was such a crappy engine that if I wanted to pull out into traffic on the Garden State Parkway, you had to shut off the air conditioner to like get enough. Yeah, it was so low power that I could not get to 65 in the summer with the AC on. So my friend would just reach over, shut it off, wait till I hit cruising speed, and then turn it back on. It was
Wow.
so stupid.
Wow.
I loved that car. So I feel you.
Yeah. Yep.
Feel you. All right. We've got some news. We don't have a ton of news, but we have some news. Let's talk about this Ubisoft thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's unpack Infinite Creed. God's sake. So Bloomberg originally kind of broke this story, and then Ubisoft has since confirmed it. And it's the existence of something they're calling Assassin's Creed Infinity,
Correct.
which cross-studio collaboration, and taking Quebec and Montreal studios and jamming them all together to make essentially not necessarily procedurally generated, but open world Assassin's Creed that's kind of Fortnite live servicey, I guess.
That's what they called it. It's been so Schreier alluded to Fortnite, Grand Theft Auto Online as kind of like an idea. Other people have taken that and ran with Destiny, WoW, Ghost of Tsushima. Like there was some talk in the Discord today by Kyle and Devin, and maybe they're right. I don't know, but Jason knows, and he called it Grand Theft Auto Online. And it's this online hub connected Assassin's Creed thing where, yes. All right, so hang on. Let's back it up. Back up the bus here.
Back up. It's not a bus.
There you go, Xbox Drive. Back it up.
For God's sakes. For God's sakes.
I did not like hearing this news because anytime I ever hear this news, as you know, I'm very sensitive to this, that feels like yet another online multiplayer game is coming. And a lot of people push back on me on that. And they're like, wait a minute. This might just be like a hub world where you can play solo and they just keep adding DLC to it like they do now. I think that is optimistic. Very, very optimistic. When you start talking about hub worlds and online, especially you start talking about Fortnite and GTA, there will be a multiplayer component of this because there has to be.
Sure.
They will do something to let people play, keep them busy while they wait for the next installment. Now, if I can jump in and play that single player experience and enjoy that, once a year while everybody else keeps playing raids or whatever, great.
I suspect that's what we're going to get. I suspect it's going to be both because this is we're speculation for everybody. We know nothing. No one knows anything at this point, really. But I don't
know if this is
see.
going to actually make it.
We don't know if this is actually going to happen, like for realsies. They announced it, but they could just never be able to get it to market.
They said they're
the
3 or 4
capacity they
years
want.
away, and there's a long time. Ubisoft makes a lot of decisions in 3 years. If you don't believe me, go look at where Ubisoft was announcing 3 years ago. There's a lot of that stuff that hasn't come out.
100% true. And our hand was sort of forced on talking about it because the story broke. They did not intend to announce this, it seems, because it was definitely like a very knee-jerk reaction. Like, we're working on it.
Now, Nick at Xbox Era, he actually outed this a month ago on his podcast. And on that podcast, he mentioned that he was hearing that it was multiplayer specific. Anytime I hear this hub world stuff, it goes multiplayer. It has to, because you've got this community. You got to feed the beast.
Well,
that's the whole point of games as a service.
Sure, absolutely.
Now, the thing that scares me is what they'll do, as with all these games do, is they'll find that they'll have more traction with the multiplayer folks, and my fear is that they'll bend the game towards that way, and we'll lose the Assassin's Creed game that I know and love.
I agree with how you feel about those games. I love those games. I definitely think, though, that those games have started to get away from Ubisoft and have started to get so big, they're almost impenetrable now. Like Valhalla is an amazing game, and I love it, but it's huge, almost unnecessarily.
So why don't they just make smaller games?
Because they don't make money on smaller games. They make money on games. They've discovered that their perfect solution for their company to persist forever is these giant games they just keep adding content to. That's the way they make games. Rainbow Six and Valhalla, even For Honor, they just keep adding, right? And they don't charge for the ads usually. Maybe a season pass, right? But I don't know. Maybe this fits with the way they're making games now. It's just this thing we can keep adding to.
I mean, eventually you got to get that $60 from somebody.
I would love to see this be Destiny-esque, where you get those expansions that you can totally play single player, but if you want to persist into multiplayer content, it's there for you.
But
That's
are they
what I
made
would
for
want.
single player like they are now? Is it like a fully fledged, drawn out single player experience, or is it something you can play solo, but it's designed and meant to be played with friends?
With the Destiny stuff, I've always played them solo and had a really good time. They never felt like I was missing something for me personally. You know what I mean? And there has been multiplayer focused content, but the single player
I just hate that
expansions I've
everything
liked.
has to be this way. That's ultimately what
You
it is.
know.
It's not even an Assassin's
No.
Creed thing, and this may not be what I'm hoping or what I'm thinking it might be or what I'm bracing for it to be. Maybe it is something that I don't mind. You know, it's not necessarily me on Assassin's Creed. It's more or less me just on the shift that we seem to be having. Everything is co-op and multiplayer and Destiny and games as a service, and you buy it now and you play it forever, and it's not what I want.
Companies have seen this is a way to make money, and people don't like the raising of the price of games either. And unfortunately, really big games cost a lot of money to make, and the return on investment is lower than one might think on a $60 video game. So I feel like, unfortunately, something's got to give somewhere,
Yeah, but
right?
I bought
And
the $100 edition, and I bought the DLC packs.
I
and
know,
buy the
so did I.
expansions, you know.
did I. But we are the 5%.
Yeah, I get it.
Really?
I wish instead of making 150-hour games, just make a 40-hour game.
I wish they would do that too,
Just
because
do
I really liked the Assassin's Creed games when they were slightly more focused. Like some of my favorite Assassin's Creed experiences were like Syndicate. It was very focused. It was still big, but it had that focus, and Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah, if a
And I
like
love
10
Valhalla.
games in one, it's too much.
It's a lot. It's too much. I wish they would, if something like this leads to smaller, more focused single player campaigns, I would be excited about that.
That is exciting.
What I think I'd like to do is like try to be not negative until we see what it actually is. That's my general vibe for something like this.
Yeah,
like it's easy to hate it.
The shoe
right?
was on the other foot today because I was the only one that seemed to be at least, pessimistic on this. Dev, Kevin, Kyle, everybody was like, it sounds great. It's just, but they all have a game like this that they love.
Sure.
I don't.
Maybe this will be yours that you love. Is the optimist way to look at it. For all things need to evolve and change, and sometimes we need to wait it out and look at it before we poo-poo it, so to speak. I mean, look, this could end up being terrible, and I'll eat my hat, but I'm gonna wait to eat my hat until I'm forced to.
If it's terrible, then they'll eat their hat.
Oh yeah, if it's bad, people won't play it, and they
That's
will
the thing.
learn
Assassin's
the
Creed
lesson.
It's gigantic, and even if they say the return investment isn't great, like they make hand over fist on Assassin's Creed. I can't imagine just messing with that formula.
I think they make more money on stuff like Rainbow Six Siege.
Well, that's because that's true, and that's what I was bringing up earlier. Like that's the thing with multiplayer that always scares me is once you inject it, it's like a virus that spreads.
Can be, and it can be
Because
very
they just
good,
look at it and they're like, why make this 19-hour campaign and hire all these voice actors and stuff when we can literally just throw in a skin and throw up a map and everybody's happy and they'll just keep playing. And it's like, I hate that because I want the other thing.
To Ubisoft's credit, they do a very good job of adding and then rebalancing their games to suit new content. Like, I actually give them a lot of credit for their after-release support. I really do. So if any company could pull this off and make it not suck, they're actually the one to do it. They've done a really good job supporting their games. So
that's true. No, you're right there.
They're the best at it, honestly.
Some folks were
really
saying, we're saying things about Hyperscape and The Division. I mean, there's some other, like they're not a hit or miss. They're not perfect.
No, but they make them better as time goes on. They
The
learn
idea of
their
them
lessons
doing this with
well.
Far Cry, it's like it's just not what I want. And I'm just scared that like we're gonna release this thing that's like there's another one, just another one. Assassin's Creed is it's a habitual game for me. I look forward to buying it every 2 years. I always buy it. I never not buy it. I just don't want it to go away.
It's one of my favorite. It's my favorite Ubisoft franchise, probably easily, and I love it very much. But if this thing crashes and burns, they're going to learn their lesson and go back to the thing that made them money. Or this doesn't rule out them injecting single-player games along the way. It doesn't.
Dev was trying to placate to my desires. He kept saying, he's like, what if you get 15, 20-hour focused single-player stuff that drops every year? But to me, I'm like, why do the sub thing? Why not just do that as a game? Why do you have to do an Infinity to make that happen? Why can't you just keep doing Creed and make that happen?
I think you need to look at it from a developer point of view, from a tools point of view. It's easier for them to inject content into an existing structured thing than it is for them to build a new thing. Just costs them less money. Just does. They can reuse assets. They can reuse templates.
Isn't that what they do now?
Kind of, but they change the engine all the time, or else those games wouldn't be so damn buggy every time they came out. If that was the way they did it now, they wouldn't be so damn broke every time they release. You know? I think a lot of this is them creating a platform or at least if it was me, it's creating a platform that I can now like leverage for faster development, less people. You know, it could save them. This could save them a lot of time and money. And
Mike says Ghost Recon Breakpoint was a major step back from Wildlands.
I do agree with that. Wildlands was really good. Breakpoint was the first time that they actually.
When I first heard it, I was thinking like Master Chief Collection, to be honest with you.
I see.
You boot up Assassin's Creed Infinity, and there's like these different.
Oh,
games
and there's
you can
like the
hop
games.
into. Like I'd be totally down for that. It just that doesn't sound like what Jason Schreier
No.
is. That's not where the money is. The
That's
money
not where the
isn't
money
there.
is.
The money is in GTA Online. That's where the money is. And when I see,
Gives them.
when I hear Ubisoft talking about profits and Infinity, and I hear Jason Schreier talk about GTA Online, you look at GTA Online and the money that makes, and I'm like, this. I don't think it's what everybody is thinking it. Like it
We're gonna
seems-
see.
Yeah, we are.
We're gonna see.
We are.
Because they're not Rockstar, and they might just make a different product. And also, this gives them this backbone of the real world stuff and how the games interconnect through time already.
Yeah.
It's existing for them. They're leveraging something that they've been building forever. I'm gonna take the optimist approach and say, I don't know that they've broken something irreparably for me in the last 5 years. So I want to see what they do with this. It could be
Maybe
cool.
they'll do something where playing with friends is so fun that I, to completely turn around on. Like, I'm not opposed to playing multiplayer. It's just not how I normally play.
So the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood online modes were really freaking fun. They
saw,
have
like-
done this well before.
Somebody postulated, like, you could do, like, raids with, like, live assassins. Like, that sounds
Yeah, or
kinda
like
fun.
put people on buildings and
Yeah.
coordinate.
Like,
Like
if you're doing
it's
the
like
sieges, like, together, that sounds fun, kind of.
think about the heists in GTA.
Yeah.
And coordinating them with people. This could be awesome. Like, let's not burn it all down right away.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Team Assassin is fun.
As long as the single-player stuff comes with it. If
bet
that
you it
is
will.
the game, I'm going to be real mad. I'm going to be real salty.
If they do that, then they'll keep releasing single player games
I hope so.
alongside it.
I hope
They do well with those games. I cannot imagine a world, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of single player games that are also multi-platform, the Destiny account tweeted today that they're going to have a showcase event on August 24th, and the Witch Queen is the next expansion that they'll be discussing on that date. So that's exciting. I like shooting things in Destiny. I always want more of it.
Sure.
So
I don't Destiny. I've tried on several occasions. That's one game I honestly just can't understand, Elaine. I don't know how to
Really?
use the map. Like I'm
it's
constantly
yeah,
lost. I don't know where to go or what I'm doing. At one point, I played it. The last time I tried to get into it, I gave it a real good college try for like 10 days. I was just fighting people in the overworld, like making no progress for like an hour. I was like,
Fair
"What?
enough.
I just thought I'm just shooting these guys.
That game went through a time when they remodeled, like redid a bunch of it, and it was real confusing for new players. And it might still be there. I don't know if it is or not.
Yeah, like
I've always
honestly can't grasp it. Like I'm like looking at the map and I got to go to a different world to get this mission. I got to come back and it's like I'm in this overworld. There are people shooting me, but I don't need to worry about them. I need to run by them to get. I'm lost, completely lost.
I enjoy the act of shooting things in the combat in that game so much that I'm willing to tolerate its BS. So I enjoy it. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with their next expansion. I never do the raids because I never have time to invest, but I am excited for more shooting.
Okay.
Why don't you talk to me about this trailer, man?
Xbox
I've watched this so many times.
All Access released a trailer featuring All for One with a remix of I Swear
So good.
from 1994.
It's so good.
Dedicated to Xbox All Access, and yes, you were correct. It was very, very good. This was probably a highlight in Xbox news this week. Like this really made waves. I'd be very interested to see if it actually popped the All Access program. If like people are actually signing up for it. We've talked about it for a long time. All Access is a really great deal if you don't want to buy a console.
Actually, if you do the math, save money.
Yep.
with the understanding that you buy Game Pass at price, at
Yep.
cost, not
Yep.
like Donnie's sick freaking back alley deals that he gets.
2026, Elaine.
But if you all access is essentially you get a console and a certain number of years of Game Pass, and you pay monthly and until it's paid off. And if you do the math, and they approve almost everyone's credit, it's pretty lenient credit wise from what I've looked at. And if you do the math, cost of console, cost of Game Pass, you save like $40 or $50.
And as long as you
depending
make
on
all
which
your
console.
payments, I believe that there's no interest.
No, it's 0% interest,
Yeah.
and it's not a so it's actually a pretty sick deal.
It's not like a Rent-A-Center thing. They're not making like a killing off of you or anything like that. Like they're legit giving you the console and Game Pass at cost.
No
and
interest.
A little less than that over the
less
lifespan
than
of the
that.
deal. So like, if I want a console, but I $500 a lot to spend. Like All Access is a sweet deal. Like $25 a month, and you're set. Brand new console, Game Pass, all the games you could ever want.
You really think about it, this is their way of getting somebody who maybe couldn't shell out all up front and dragging them into the Game Pass situation. And then by the time they've paid off the console, they're like, but I really like Game Pass. And then they keep getting it.
Yeah, you're
it's
locked
genius.
You're locked in forever at that point.
So smart.
And the commercial was amazing. All of the guys from All for One look like old dads now, like you'd
They
expect
put like
later.
the filter on it that you expected from the 90s. It's sick.
Yeah.
You guys need
They
to
had
go watch it. I
jumpsuits.
giggled.
They're
I
in front of a
giggled.
fountain. It was very cute. And the lyrics were not, they were super cheesy,
It was bad.
which we expected. I mean,
love
I
it.
swear itself is super cheesy.
Love it.
But they were pretty good, actually. To have to work what they did, I was like, that's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I got some real 90s nostalgia out of that, and I've watched it like 4 times, and I giggled like a small child. So I highly recommend, if you haven't seen it, get on that Google machine and take a look at it. So
Yeah.
let's see what else we got. We got a couple of other little things. FPS Boost gets a new game as of a couple of minutes ago while we were recording this. Dark Souls 3 is getting an FPS Boost update. Digital Foundry has published an article. They got early access to the update, and they're saying the resolution is still locked at the 900p that the base game was on Xbox.
So that's what it already was. It was already 90.
was already at that resolution. It
Okay.
was not. Okay, so you don't get a resolution bump, but you're doubling your frame rate from 30 to 60.
That's better than nothing.
It's pretty locked in. For something like Dark Souls, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And they said that there was one instance where it dipped to 53, and that was it.
Oh, boo-hoo.
This is on Series X and S, and like Dark Souls 3 had some technical problems, and this doesn't fix them all, but frame rate goes a long way in those games. So if you're into it, get into it. And they tweeted, remember to restart your console to get the full benefit. So there must be some caching stuff that happens in there.
Okay.
I don't know why. Ani, what's going on with Game Pass updates? What do we
On tomorrow, or if the day you're hearing this, you can get Dragon Quest Builders 2, Tropico 6, and UFC 4. I'm actually excited to check out UFC 4.
It's good.
I've been watching the the reality show Tough.
I love that
It
show.
came back this year. They brought it back
What?
for the first
They
time.
brought it
Yeah,
back?
they have a whole new season. Everything. I've been watching it. I used to love it. I think that's the only thing that
too.
I really liked about UFC was the Ultimate Fighter. Like I really enjoyed the show in the beginning. There was really some really great TV at like the dawn of, I don't know if the dawn, because it wasn't the dawn of reality TV, but at its time, it was like some of the best produced reality TV of its day.
Oh man, those first couple seasons were wild.
Forrest
I
Griffin
love
and
them.
stuff, like they had
I own
some
those.
real slammers, and they did a really, really good job with that.
Fun.
So I'll probably try that. On the 15th, you can play Blood Roots Farming Simulator 19, and the medium comes to cloud. I have Blood Roots on Switch, and it is excellent. And I definitely would encourage anybody, if you're looking at it and just glossing over it in the bullet points, don't give Blood Roots a try. It's a lot of fun. If you like Ape Out or Katana Zero and things like that, definitely play Blood Roots. Chris Tales comes out on the 19th, followed by Microsoft Flight Simulator on the 27th, followed by July 29th, Omno, which is that crazy, weird, strange platformer that we talked about when it was shown at that Indie Direct, and then The Ascent,
Yeah, baby.
which I'm very excited about. You should have Game Pass just for The Ascent.
You should just have Game Pass because you're listening to this podcast.
Yeah, you should just have Game Pass. And then on July 14th, EA Sports UFC and EA Sports UFC 2 leave Game Pass, followed by Endless Space 2 Downwell Crosscode on July 15th. If you haven't played
a bummer.
Crosscode yet,
Crosscode.
It's been on Game Pass for like a year.
So good. It's so good. I recommend if you start it and you like it, it is worth the price of admission. That game goes places, has a great story, and is really like Zelda-y in its dungeons. Super good. Highly recommend.
And it's you get a discount if you buy it before it leaves. So definitely jump on
off?
it before it's too late.
Do it. Do it. All right. I think that's all the news. It's been it's the middle of the summer, kids.
I'm struggling.
E3 is over.
If you can't tell. I'm so tired.
Donnie's a mess. He's a mess. He's a mess. Well, we got questions. We'll have a shorter show today because, it's the middle of the freaking summer. There's nothing to do here with in video games land. But we did get questions on the internet machine. This one is interesting, and I want to read it. Jared asks, is physical media more valuable than digital media?
So glad you started with this question. This question came in last week, and we didn't get a chance to answer it. And I love this question because I think this question can go places.
It's true. It's true.
I'm going to answer, and let's see if I set myself opposed to you. Yeah. I'm going to say yes. Physical media is more valuable than digital media.
Okay.
I think this often gets brought up with the Game Pass thing. There are people that don't like Game Pass because they'll say, like, I like owning my games and not renting my games. Well, it's like, dude, you don't own the games that you buy.
No, you don't.
For one, that doesn't actually happen either. But I think beyond games, though, there's a really good case if you think beyond the medium as to making this value. I wonder, digital media is great for keeping a customer. If you can get them invested in somewhere, they'll probably be willing to put up with some stuff to not leave because they already have so much of a library. And that's extremely valuable, over the life of something. I just feel like when somebody goes to purchase a physical good, they put more into it. There's more of an investment, having the tangible product, they take care of it more. So I think it means more to them. And that could be anything, right? Talk about an album, a movie, a video game, a collector's edition, a statue, a painting, a canvas, whatever it is. When you have a tangible good, when you used to buy an album in the stores, you didn't just go and sample something. You put in some time and effort because you were buying it, right? And if you didn't work, then you were going to have to leave it. I think with the digital media, especially, and this might be splitting hairs here, but especially when it comes to subscriptions, you have that kind of flippantness to it because you're like, I don't like it. Who cares? Move it on. One of the albums I was really excited for this year was the Greta Van Fleet album. I really liked their first two. Really did not like the last one that just came out, their third one. Didn't care because I subscribed to the service, so I listened to it the day of, and I just out of sight, out of mind. Had I bought that album, totally would have felt way more regret with the purchase.
Really,
would have had that buyer's remorse. You can't, you can't take back a CD. You can't take back an album.
You
don't have that return. I'm sure you can return, a purchase on Google Play. If you don't listen to the whole thing a whole lot or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? You can't just, I just bought it, on iTunes, probably stuck with it forever. So I think in the classic macro level, if you're just putting up the mediums against each other, physical versus digital media and everything that entails, I think physical media is more valuable than digital.
It's interesting because if we were to have had this conversation before subscription services had become the thing, it would be more of a toss-up. Because when you bought a digital purchase, you were locked in. Yeah. Same as a physical purchase, right? And maybe you could argue the physical purchase is more valuable because it can appreciate over time. That would be my argument. Now that subscription media has come in, I don't disagree with your take. It's really easy for me on a subscription service to write something off and just be like, well, whatever, I tried it. Game Pass is a great example of this. Oh, well, I didn't like it. I tried it. I move on. $10 a month, who cares? And I buy a physical thing that doesn't hit for me, my disposable income aside, that's way more of a bummer. But when you look at value over time too, I own a copy of Earthbound on the Super Nintendo. I own the cartridge. I bought it for $60 to $80. It came with a strategy guide. It's worth a lot more than that now. It is appreciated in value because it's a collector's item. And for me, that's why I like physical stuff. I like the art of collecting things I love. So an example is I will buy a game digitally, and if I fall in love with it, I will buy a physical copy. Because that is where I want to own it forever.
Think about Netflix.
You know what I mean?
How fast
even
people
Netflix
will churn through content on Netflix. Do you
totally?
Do you value any of it? Like, is there something where you're just like, I gotta have Netflix because this thing is on it, and I want to have it? Because I feel like, Netflix puts up a new season of Stranger Things, and the next day people are through it. It's done. It's come here and gone. And
those things cycle off those subscription services too, and they cycle off Game Pass, and that's, for me, they kind of come together, the digital and physical media. Like, the digital media and subscription services are a really good way for me to find things I deeply love. And when I deeply love something, I will always go the extra mile. I will buy a physical copy. I'll buy the soundtrack on vinyl. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So in that way, I value the physical versions more.
Well, the argument
I put on a shelf.
The argument for this case with Game Pass is a lot of people say, like, I like owning my games and I like renting my games, but a lot of those same people, and not just those same people, there's a lot of gaming in general. Gaming is a very, like, consumptive medium. A lot of people just buy it, play it, and then put it away, and they never play it again. I see that often when I talk about replaying games. So many people tell me that I'm never replaying it. Old game is old. I'm playing the new thing. There's a lot of people like that, and a lot of those same people use that against Game Pass, and it's weird because it's like, you can own it, but if you never play it again, does it matter that you own it?
Yeah. I mean, I see. I'm like you. I replay games I love.
So do I.
Right, and I own games physically that I love, and I keep old consoles to do that. So I go the extra mile. So for me personally, physical media is more valuable because it is a testament to how much I enjoy something if it stays on my shelf.
Yep.
That's largely the way that I view it. But digital media has value in that it gets me there often, right? So I get to try things I may never have tried, and I find new things I love that way. So its value is different than holding something in my hands.
I do think
it's broader to me.
I think the value of subscription services, or at least maybe even the counter value, I guess maybe a better way of putting it is, I do think it's really hurt, at least how I feel, but I would say overall, how people feel about reviews.
That's true. There's no reason to ingest. Yeah.
I don't care what IGN thinks the Ascent is worth. I'm going to play the Ascent on the 29th.
Yes, if it's on a subscription service, like reviews are.
Now if I was paying $100 for that game, maybe you want to know. Is it awful?
That's interesting. I think that, I don't know if it's the subscription services that have done that or my disposable income shift that has done that, because I don't care anymore. I can
specifically through the lens of Game Pass.
That's fair. Yes.
I don't care about reviews at all because it's just on Game Pass. I'm gonna try it anyway. I'd rather not know. I'd rather not know. It's like, I'm gonna play the Ascent. It looks cool. I don't want to know what anybody else thinks about it because it's just here. I don't have to pay $60 to try it.
True. I'm like this with movies. I don't look at the Rotten Tomatoes score. Same. I just watch it because I love bad movies sometimes, and I don't care about someone else's opinion on a thing if I have fun with it. So reviews are weird because I just don't ingest them at all. I could care less about your Metacritic score. Still gonna try it, Mm-hmm. So that was actually a really good question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you, Jared.
That was good. All right, Donnie, get me. Let's see what we got.
Delvin asked this a couple weeks ago, but we just haven't got to it. Did either of you find any good Prime Day deals? Was it a month old?
Did I get on? Oh yeah, the only one I got, the really good one I got was that Lord of the Rings 4K UHD collection. Was nice. It's normally $150 or $160, and it was $60, and I was like, click buy. That was it. That was all I bought. I don't feed the Prime Day thing too much anymore. Did you get anything?
I don't think
so. Prime Day?
I'm trying to look at my orders now. I don't think so.
Love it.
I just order stuff. I don't even know.
I just order stuff too.
Prime
I don't
Day.
even care.
When was Prime Day?
Early mid-June. The 20th. The 20th of June-ish.
I think my Streets of Rage Collector's Edition was Prime Day. Yeah, because I know I got that for about half off. That's the only reason I bought it.
Yeah, this is why I got the. I mean, it was a third of the regular price, so I pulled the trigger. I've been wanting those Blu-rays, UHDs anyway.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah, that Lord of the Rings set is gonna look real good on that TV. That's all I'm gonna say about it. All right, Garrett asked this one. With most games shown at the E3 press show being included in Game Pass, is Game Pass now mainstream? If not, how long do you think it'll take to get mainstream?
Well, that's a great question. Is Game Pass mainstream?
I would make the argument no.
I probably would too.
I think if you walked into a store and talked to 10 people who are not really plugged into video games,
my air conditioning
eight of them would have never known Game Pass existed.
Yep.
I think you need to break 50-50 to hit mainstream.
The argument that I brought up was about 2 years ago when One X like launched 2 or 3 years ago, my cousin, her husband bought one, and he had no idea what Game Pass was. It is literally on the console that he turned on every day, and he never even clicked it never even dawned on him. He just looked at it like it was another advertisement and just blew right by it. I had to sit him down and talk to him about it.
I think it is ubiquitously understood within video game nerd circles.
Yeah.
We all know what it is.
The hardcore
That's we all, and even like some of the middling, like there's some people in that middle who know, but the bulk of people who are looking at console purchases have no idea what it is. So no. And how long? Way, I think you'd have to saturate the market with Xboxes. Like they have to be a household thing for people to start.
I disagree.
5 years would be my vote.
You think 5?
Yeah, I do.
3 at the most.
For like we're talking about.
Yep, 3 at the most.
Mainstream. Like kids in the back of the bus. Mainstream.
Hellblade. Starfield. Bethesda games. This is gonna be something from id and Arcane. Like we know we've got Redfall. Something from id. Something from Machine. Like when those games start hitting Game Pass, that's when it goes mainstream. Game Pass still hasn't got that. Like Halo is really Game Pass's first real chance to go mainstream. Halo Infinite,
I agree with that statement.
Hasn't had that opportunity. It's had a lot of I don't want to like grade them or rank them because I don't want to be demeaning. It's had a lot of great games, but there's been no talk of the town, industry leading game to hit Game Pass day one yet. Halo Infinite is the hope for that.
Halo is a mainstream game.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Exactly.
Forza Horizon is not
amazing,
a mainstream game,
but it's never going to be that.
But it's not Halo. Yeah. Halo is the game that all the college kids would play back in our day. You know, Halo is probably their first cut, but they need 1 or 2 more.
Once that marketing budget
3 to 5.
starts hitting TVs, and you see it during college football games and on NFL Sundays, and the college kids are like, "There's a new Halo. What's the new Halo?" You gotta imagine there's a lot of people right now that don't even know that there's a new Halo game coming because most
100%.
people don't watch E3. Most people aren't us, and most people aren't the people listening to this show. Every one of us know 25 of those other people.
Or more.
Right?
50.
So
it's 100% true.
When Halo drops and it's like, you can play it today for $1, like when that starts going, that'll be Game Pass's first real chance. I don't think it will go there, but I do think it will make a dent.
We'll start to churn.
I won't be surprised if by next E3, I'd probably guess that Game Pass will have nearly 40 million subscribers by then. And that's a significant jump.
I agree. I think household name, mainstream, people who don't necessarily play a ton of video games know what it is still a 3-year thing for me to get there. But I think it needs a few games that get the commercials during the Super Bowl.
They need to start stacking. That's the thing. It can't just be like this once a year you hear about Game Pass. What it needs to be is what Matt Booty's been talking about. It needs to be like Hellblade, and then here's Avowed, and then here's Fable,
every quarter,
and then here's
every
Doom,
month,
then people are gonna be like, holy shit, I really need to get Game Pass because there's so much. We haven't had that content yet.
Great. If you only see 1 or 2 games a year, you're like, whatever, I'll buy my disc. That's the only game I play.
Exactly.
I feel like if it's every other month, you're like, well, why am I buying a disc?
Those people don't value the Ascent or 12 minutes. They don't care. No. It's not on their to-do list, right? So like that stuff that we enjoy that keeps us going, that means nothing to them. But once they get to the point where there is a significant amount of content, probably 4, they can get 4 games like out in a year.
Quarterly. Yeah. I agree. It has to be, and it has to be the right 4 games that are mainstream games. Like Halo is one. Halo is a game, but Forza's not. You know what I mean? It's just not a mainstream game. Starfield will be, but then that's a gap. So when they start, you're right. When they start the churn, and I do think it's going to take them 3 years to get there because that's when all these other games are starting to stack up into that 3-year period.
I agree.
So that's where I'm at. Maybe 5, but I think 3 they could get there. They could get there. That's a good question too. We're killing it today. All right, Donnie, your pick.
Let's get Haley's out of the way. We're going to play Forza Horizon 5 together.
Yeah, buddy. Let's do it.
Last time we had Forza game come out, PSVG was a part of Sean Capri's network called Make Us Better. And if you go and race now, you'll see all of us running around with little MUB tags.
Oh, that's good.
So I don't know what our new tag would be. Like, do we Empire tag?
SVG,
do we
right?
PSVG tag?
I think we PSVG tag because PC players can play it. I mean, right? I don't know. We could Empire tag. I don't care. But
I don't care
we need
either.
to play.
I'm not suggesting I don't care.
You can put vroom vroom and that'd be our tag.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
give a
I
crap.
do not care what it is, but as long as we're doing it, we definitely need to show up together, and absolutely we need to play together. I'm so damn excited for Forza Horizon 5. I don't know. It might be my. I don't know. I don't think it's my most anticipated game.
Is for me this year.
It is
100%.
in the sense that I don't know. I think this might make sense. I'm tired. My eyes are dry. If you can't tell, so maybe I'm speaking nonsense here. I'm so excited for it because I'm almost certain that it's going to be the best game. Like I'm almost positive that it's going to be that damn good.
I'm telling you, I have
but
no
I want
game.
Dying Light and Far Cry to also be that good.
It's cute that you're so, but they're not going to be this game.
I think
they're not going to be this game.
That's what's holding me back. It's like Far Cry or Forza looks so damn good. It's like
so good.
It's gonna be a blast. It looks so much better.
I'm excited about a lot of games between now and December, but that is the game that I am frothing to play. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Give it to me now.
Same.
Now. So yes, we're gonna play the hell out of that. All right, Jared Hale had one from Twitter. With the return of the Xbox Design Lab, what would you add to make it better? Colors, textures, logos. I want the ability to custom color every single button individually. Really badly. I want the sticks to be different colors.
I would like the inclusion of some Xbox first-party properties.
Ooh.
Let people make their own Halo controller. Let people make their own Forza controller. Let people make their own Gears controller. Oh, yeah.
Give me the logos, give me the textures, like Master Chief's armor. Yeah, I want those textures. I don't just want flat colors. I would also love the
metallic paint. I want to scuff it up. Let me do some stuff.
Yeah, I think so too. I think some of the Gears stuff would be sick. Let me add a blood splatter effect if I want to. Like that would be cool. I don't even need personalized logos. Just give us the first party stuff. And it would be really cool to give some like.
Do you think if they gave you the ability to make like your own Gears controller, do you think that would sell better than them releasing a Gears controller? Like, is that why they're holding it back? Because like when they release a design, it sells so well. Or do you think if they let people create their own, that maybe more people would buy?
I think it behooves them to do that because they sell the Xbox Design Lab controllers at a premium. You pay more than you do for even a special edition controller. It's usually about $100 as opposed to 70 or 60 for. So like, why not? Like even if it does sell better, and it would be really cool, someone designed one like Forza skins to show it in the store, and then have people like if people all like either upvoted it or like it was popular, to let you just copy and drop that in. That would be sick.
Yeah, I would love that. Like fan favorite designs, you could grab it and like add your own thing, add your own tag.
That would be dope because it's all Microsoft. If they only use Microsoft properties and solid colors, there's nothing copyrighted to worry about. So it would be awesome.
Jared, I also want them to include the Elite, which Elaine I didn't talk about. I got an Elite 2 this week.
Did get it's great, isn't it? Isn't it like the best controller?
It's
such a dope controller.
I knew that when I sold my last one. I sold my last one because the value at the time was just through the roof. People were paying obscene amounts for it. After I traded in like 3 controllers. I cashed out my last Amazon gift card and I got the Elite 2 for $1.50.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty
I'm
good.
gonna give you that.
I was pretty happy about it. And it was not like new controllers. They were all last gen Xbox One, not special edition controllers, just black and white controllers I had. They're basically Jack's controllers. He had a bundle of controllers upstairs that nobody was ever using. And I was like, let's get rid of those. And I think I got rid of one of my Switch Pros and that gift card. And I was like, brand new Elite 2, bring it home. And it doesn't take screenshots, which is why I got rid of it in the first place, because I wanted the new model. But now that we're in here,
it feels so good.
Here's the thing, Elaine. Have you seen my Twitter? I'm not using the damn screenshot button anyway.
Oh,
taking photos of the TV with my phone.
Because you have HDR on. If you have HDR on, the screenshot button is useless.
And everything else, and like it's.
I like the experience. I'm the same person as you. Also, I wish I could repurpose that button for something else, like so badly. I wish it could be a microphone mute, or I just want to customize that button. Oh my God, Microsoft, please just give me.
I use the shift paddles to let me do that. So I have my paddles set up to do screenshots and stuff, and I still don't really use it. I should just take them out. But they're there if I want to use them. They're there.
I should just take them out. I would love to see them add Elites to the Design Lab, but I kind of understand why they might not. Like, I wonder if premium cost of that controller, like adding paint and overlays and stuff and changing sticks with
parts and stuff for that.
I wonder if they just don't have the capability to do that. If it would be so expensive, would I love that? Yeah.
But I think I'm totally fine with letting people, because there are people that'll pay for it. Like like charge it up, make it more.
Well,
there are people that pay $350 for a controller if it's exactly what they want it to be.
I think that the manufacturing process just does not exist for them to do that with that shell.
That makes
It's
sense.
a very expensive piece of tech. Like, it's heavy. It's weighty.
I would like
it's
some of the
beefy.
elite stuff to make its way down to the base controller. Then like
Paddles.
You can do paddles or sticks or like the metal D-pads. Like you can throw that stuff on the current controller.
I wish you could. I would take base level. Just let me swap the D-pad. Give me the option to do the 4x4 and it can be fixed and not even take it out. But let me choose it when I design a controller. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Agree with that. Another good question. Let's see. Let's go with Nathan's lightning questions. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Which installed game has a lifetime pass to stay installed?
A lot of them, but the craziest one that most people won't guess, because I don't know, a lot of people probably guess Ori, Forza Gears, right? Power Star Golf. Had it since day one. It's still here. It's still kicking. I still boot it up every so often.
A Tetris Effect.
Good call.
I'm never not going to Tetris. Can't not Tetris.
Good call.
Which installed game is next on the chopping block to uninstall? Interesting. I guess that's what he means, uninstall. Which installed game is...
Biomutant.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if I'm ever going to get back to Biomutant. Like, I keep wanting to, and I feel like every time I say that, like, 3 more games get in between it and what I'm playing.
No, video... it's probably Immortals Phoenix Rising for me.
Oh, it's a good one.
Sorry, not sorry.
That's a
I'll
real
keep
good one.
Assassin's Creed installed forever, but not that. Sorry, not sorry.
That was such a bummer for me.
It was a bummer for me too. I wanted it to be better. Guilty pleasure game. Do you have a guilty pleasure game?
It's Power Star Golf count.
I hate that this is your answer for everything.
I have a lot of guilty pleasure games. I just don't. I don't know if they count.
consider
as
a guilty-
pleasures, right? Like,
Is it a guilty pleasure? Maybe it's right on the border.
Catherine, and my wife
on the
was
border.
not okay with me playing that game.
My husband could care less what I play. I love that man. Is a guilty pleasure game something you're embarrassed about?
Yeah.
Okay, boy.
So when I think guilty pleasure, I immediately snap to like waifu games and stuff like that.
Yeah. I could see where you're going with that. Boy, I don't know that I have one that's like that.
But I'm not
really aggressively
ashamed
stands
of
out.
playing them either. Like that's the other that makes it harder because I'm like I played No More Heroes and built a damn shelf to that game.
No More Heroes is kind of up there, honestly. Like I won't play those games in public on my Switch. I won't. So that, well, of course, you have no shame. No shame.
That's
You
correct.
can't have a guilty pleasure if you have no shame.
Exactly. That's why this question always troubles me. I'm like, am I supposed to feel bad about playing Shinron Kagura? It's a good game.
They're fun. They are fun. God, I can't. Thanks, Nathan. You butthole. You must live 24 hours in a simulator game. Which game is it? I want to live in American Truck Simulator. I want to drive a big rig truck for 24 hours.
I don't think I even know simulator games.
Play
I'm
a
sure I
farming
do, but
sim.
I've never played
wanna be
them.
None, not one. Like Flight Sim, if you could actually
Oh,
fly
God,
a plane.
I hated that game.
It's American Truck Simulator for
Never
me. Give
wanted to play
me a freaking trucker hat and the radio and the big rig and some coffee. Yeah, buddy.
This
Deliver
is
some stuff.
crazy out of the box for me because I do not like this at all. Like
I don't
in
like
real
sim
life.
games.
But I really liked Hunting Simulator. That one that was on
Really?
Game Pass. I don't know if it was
know which one you're
Hunting
talking
Simulator,
about.
but there was that one that was on Game Pass, like Call of the Wild or something weird like that. That game was really good.
You just want to lay around and shoot animals.
It's basically like
You
Far
monster.
Cry. That's it. It's basically
monster.
Far Cry without like the terrorist part. But
Except you're shooting bunnies.
Cities Skylines. Does that count?
It's not a simulator. That's not quite what. What about Surgeon Simulator?
No, definitely not doing that.
Gross. Trucks for me.
Okay,
That's my answer. I love driving things.
it's a better answer.
Pretty sick. I thought about it, kind of. And the last question: what is the last game you got lost in?
Valhalla: Wrath of the Druids.
Yeah, I think Assassin's Creed Valhalla is the last game that really like engulfed my soul.
Before that was
time.
probably Tsushima. I got really into Tsushima for like 4 days. I gave it everything I could.
I installed that recently, and I'm gonna really get into
And
that.
then
I'm
maybe the
excited to play it.
medium. I was really into the medium.
Well, I'm gonna play. I should note before people start telling me, I'm gonna play Ghost of Tsushima once the update comes out. That gives me the update. Yeah.
You know what? This is a spoiler for next week's Shack, but I'm sorry, I'm lying to you. I have started playing Metroid Zero Mission. It's fucking
Oh, that game
excellent.
is so good. That game is.
I've never played it, and Shaq folks
so
were
good.
not okay with that. When they found out I never played it, Elaine, I had 5 DMs
there.
the next day. Somebody sent me a code. Somebody sent me files. They're like, you have to play this game. And I'm still not even sure because I haven't looked it up. I thought it was just like a remake. I thought it was like, isn't it the GBA? They just remade all the SNES games for like the same games, but you just play them on the go now. And it feels very similar to the original, but it's definitely not. And I'm not. I haven't played enough of it to know the differences.
So good. That game is really, really, really good.
But it is really good. I'm definitely
very
into
good.
it. I'm in it right now.
That game hauls ass. It never really stops. It doesn't have like the deep, longer lulls that some of the Metroid games do. Technically, yeah, it's a remake of NES Metroid, but it moves in a way that game, and it added a bunch of crap. Ryan is confirming that.
I'm really
chat.
digging it. I am really,
Yo,
it feels like a remake, but it also, and I don't know, it just feels different. Like it doesn't feel
It
the
does.
same, but it is the same.
A lot. It feels like if you took NES Metroid and dumped it into the Super Metroid engine.
But
That's what it feels like.
I am way into it right now, and that is saying something. That's honestly, it's like the Scarlet Nexus thing. It's like I'm playing Scarlet Nexus, I'm like, this is fun, and then I started Metroid, and then I went back to Scarlet Nexus. I'm like, I should just keep playing Metroid.
Just play Metroid.
Like
Zero Mission's really good.
I like Metroid games.
Some of my favorites. That is one of my favorite
I have
Nintendo
it
properties.
on my 3DS, Elaine. I've got it all hacked, done all the things.
I own the special edition Metroid 3DS. It's still in a box. I go hard on Metroid.
That's
stuff.
one. Is that you're talking about the XL?
I think so. Yeah, the red
Samus
one
Returns
with
model.
Yep.
So I kick myself for getting rid of the Metroid one because that's the one I had. I mean, I'm sorry, the Majora's Mask one. It's the one I had.
Oh, I have that one too.
I got rid of the Majora's Mask one for the light model with the faceplates, and I don't regret it because I love the faceplate model. It's definitely my favorite. But I wish I still had my Majora one, but I never got the Samus one, and that's the one that I always feel like that's the one that got away. I really loved that model. I loved the look, the yellow and the red and
the gold red.
So
it's very candy apple.
good.
It's sexy. It's very sexy.
Yeah.
I also own the Majora one. I own way too many special editions of DSs and stuff like that.
Okay. I don't want to just go all Shaq on
You're not
everybody
going to
here
do
in the
this with
Empire.
me.
I am going to, because I've been seeing this for days. Since yesterday's announcement, everybody's just like, "Oh, the OLED's so stupid." Dude, we buy so many dumb upgrades for consoles.
You and I are stupid though. I own 2 Vitas because
I've owned like 8 Vitas. I've owned so many Vitas.
Okay, I still own 2 Vitas.
But here's the thing: the people. So here's the thing: I don't disagree with the sentiment. I disagree with the sentiment that the Switch OLED is not like a giant leap. Like I get it, that's true. So when you're saying that like in its own, I agree. But when the person saying that is a person that I know had an Xbox One, an Xbox One S, an Xbox One X, and like, don't you like kind of like, who are you to?
You have so much more energy for arguing than I do, right? So my general philosophy on this is let be what will be. You know what I mean? Like I don't have the energy to argue.
Yeah, if you're trying to live.
If somebody doesn't want to buy it and is frustrated by it, then I'll just let them blow off their steam and move on.
Look, you're so
am
nice.
of the opinion. I am nice, but I'm nice because like life is kind of short.
Look, you've got this long arm sleeve, and you like kickbox and stuff like.
Isn't that funny?
Like,
I look like I drive a red ass Harley motorcycle. I drive a Chevy Tahoe. I wear boots and flannels all fall. I look like the chick who will punch you in the face, and I am the nicest, fuzziest, warmest person.
There's a part of me that, for whatever reason, when I see that type of stuff, like I have a really hard time letting go. People are like, "This is so dumb. People shouldn't buy this." But it's like you own 9 3DSs. Like I know you.
Do you take it? Do you take it when people say that? Do you take it personally, like it's a slight against you for buying it, or is it just you're frustrated with the sentiment?
No, it's like I don't know. It's like there's a part of me like I have like this deep down urge to like try and keep it 100 all the time, and like hopefully like hold other people to doing the same.
Fair enough.
And like they're not wrong. It is kind of a dumb update, but at the same time, it's like. If you've bought dumb updates, who are you to yell about another dumb update? It's like we've all bought dumb updates, haven't we? Or am I projecting my behavior on others? Because I feel like most people, a lot of, especially our tight community, like our podcast community, like podcasters, all of us have bought dumb upgrades. We all have.
But I think everybody's threshold for what they consider a dumb upgrade worth the money is different, right? So for some people, like it's worth the money for this reason, but this one isn't for a different reason. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
it's not a universal standard. So for me,
nothing is ever 1-to-1. But I'm just making the point
Right.
that like it's all pretty close. Like you can quickly
But I
like,
think-
draw a lap and kind of lump all of these in the same box.
I think looking at somebody who's saying, this is a dumb update, is looking at someone who's venting frustration that they didn't get something better. Not looking at someone who's saying, like, all updates are dumb updates and I'm not buying it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just frustrated with this moment.
And to be clear, I'm not throwing. I know. I said I want to be clear because I know I said I wanted to argue with Sean because me and Sean have been arguing. Me and Sean love each other. I'm not.
You love each other. They're
I'm not
gross.
throwing Sean under the bus. I'm talking about just gaming in general. Like how many podcasters, gaming journalists, IGN, like they're all like, "Oh, this is so dumb." It's like you own 60 3DSs. Like,
This is 100% their way of venting frustration that it wasn't something else.
but then they buy it
It's
anyway.
not that- we're all going to do that. We're all stupid. But here's the thing, Donnie.
That's the part that bothers me.
If this discourse didn't exist, we wouldn't have crap to talk about on the internet.
No,
Like,
that's
this
true.
Is part
funny.
of this is driving
That's
discourse. Like, and that's what this is. Come
You know,
on,
and I will tell you this to bring it back to Xbox. I've been a little salty with the Xbox community because ever since the little Switch was announced, Xbox, I don't know what it is, but the Xbox like fan community, like they've got all these promos and markets. They're like, buy an Xbox Series S. It's like, dude, none of that matters. Nobody's like,
It's not
well,
the same
I guess
thing.
I'm not going to buy this Switch because you finally showed me what a Series S was. Like, dude, they're not even considering a Series S. Like, why is
it's
there
a completely different market.
that crap going on? Like, that's the
Because-
thing that's bothering me.
Because I think people, and it's the same thing that people do where they say, well, this is $350 and for $50 more you can get a PS5.
Of
discless.
course, I get the
It's-
comparative shopping, but
Right.
people have
That's all
got
it
to
is.
realize that people don't care. There's a lot of people that
Yeah.
don't care.
I agree with you. It's not about the cost of the item; it's about the library behind it for
Yeah.
people. I think that
That
argument
awesome,
is
better, cheaper box doesn't play Animal Crossing. So
that is a complete wash for me. I agree with you. That's nonsense. Don't do that.
that's
silly.
honestly
It's
that's
silly.
the root of it. The root of it is
That
that
one
I keep
bothers me,
seeing
too.
that over and over again. I'm just
Don't do
like,
that.
just please stop. And almost make your case without throwing the other one under the bus.
Also, it's
Just
just
be like,
it's not,
buy the Series S because the Series S is freaking awesome. Why is it going to come at the expense of something else?
It doesn't have to, and it shouldn't because that's a comparative game based on dollars that doesn't make any sense. Dollars and power, those things don't. That doesn't make sense when it comes to consoles with exclusivity conversations. Like you have to play the game, the thing,
Some
buy
people
the thing
do.
that plays the games.
Definitely right. Some people absolutely buy that stuff for power. I buy my Xbox for power.
Sure.
I want my Xboxes to be powerful. And
That's why I
don't hold Nintendo to the same expectations at all.
if I'm buying a Switch, it's because I want to play Metroid, Animal Crossing, Zelda. Like that's why I'm buying a Switch, and that's why most people are buying.
100%. 100%.
It has nothing to do with power or dollars to power ratio. Don't do that. That's dumb. Come on.
Oh, I see
people.
Sean's
Like,
in the chat. He said we'll talk. I guess maybe we'll,
no, they're gonna have a powwow after
we'll
this.
argue
They're gonna
on
hug
Sweet
it out.
Hanks.
Be Jesus. All right. I think that's gonna do it for this week. We did a pretty good job, man. We got some
Fun
good
times.
questions.
I'm sorry.
Y'all were
I'm,
on point.
I'm really tired and I'm kind of at the edge of I'm just long day, long week, and I'm running on fumes, Leah.
What you need to do is go play some video games, and that's what
I
we're
really
gonna
do.
but-
Yeah. And you know what? We got Shaq out of the way early, so I got a few days before I got Sweet Hangs, and like I'm free. You know, I can just get through my work and I can play some stuff.
Sink into some video games, make yourself feel better. While you think about what you're going to play, I'm going to give a shout out to our on-air producers real quick. Thank you for everybody who supports us at the on-air level on Patreon. Thank you for everybody who supports us at every level and in the Discord and on Twitter. And if you want to follow us on social, I'm ET Dragon. He's Eat the Hype. Come hang out on Twitter where he starts arguments and I am nice.
What if I could just leave Twitter? You think that'd be a net positive? Just shut her
No,
down.
don't leave Twitter because I love watching you start crap with people and I go in the background. It's like of the two of us, if you were to meet the two of us and neither of us was to speak, I would be the person you would expect to start fights all the time, not Donnie. So it just brings me so much joy to watch him be the one who's poking the bear all the time.
You do have fun. It's fun.
It's fun. Don't leave Twitter. Just come follow us. All right. So our on-air producers, Michael Masick, Edwin Callow, Stephen Keller, Nick Creature, Ben Moxham, Nick Fallhaber, Paul Calicote, Kyle Heyman, Devin Tyus, Josh Bourbon, RJ Kern, HorseGirl69,
Nice.
Zach Adams, and Joe Wilson. Nice. Thank you guys. Thank you everybody. Guys and gals, folks.
Y'all.
Y'all is my favorite gender neutral, all inclusive word. I use y'all a lot.
What if you do like so? You've got the people that do all the pronouns. Like, how do you do that? Like with y'all, it's like
y'all
y'all
is
slash
just
you
you all.
guys.
It's just you. It's you all.
But you need
That's
two of
why.
them, right? Like you got to list two
You
of
don't.
them.
Just y'all.
Just y'all.
Y'all perfect. It's just y'all. It's just you all.
That is true. It is perfect. It is just
the
y'all.
one. Like I know that people associate it with southernness and nonsense, but like it's you all. It's gender neutral. It's perfect.
Maybe that's the other
That's
one.
why I use
Y'all slash you all. You all sounds so worse.
You all sounds like your grandma would
You
say,
all.
like y'all. You all. No, it's y'all. Come on. Say y'all, and I say darlin'. So that's who I am, and deep down inside. All right, Donnie. I think that's it, right?
Yeah,
Did we
that'll do
capture it?
We can do it.
All right, until next week. Some video games, y'all.